Hey, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast for you. I was about to say review, but it's not a review. We're going to discuss the 2023 Grammys and why it doesn't really matter to me. Grammys used to be a big deal in my world, long before radio, long before even adulthood. As a kid, I would look and see who won the Grammy Awards, and then the next day, those would be the biggest selling singles and albums everywhere. Remember that? Back in the day, like Toto 4. That won 7 Grammy Awards. That was major that year. And everybody owned that album. You could go around and talk to people. They owned it. When an album won Album of the Year, when a song won Song of the Year, when an artist won Artist of the Year, we talked about it till the end of time. They had big record sales based on it, big video sales. Everything was just huge after. Now? Grammy Awards were announced, last night, this morning. It's Monday. Nothing. There's literally almost nothing in my feed. People complaining about a few things, people happy about a few things. But other than that, where's somebody going, yeah, that was the best album of the year and we should all own a copy? You're not hearing that. It's supposed to be about the music, and it was more about the performances, who was there, who was nominated. How about the music? It's all about the music, to use a phrase from my internet radio stations. It's supposed to be all about the music. This is not supposed to be a popularity contest, but it kind of is. Most award shows are. It's supposed to be the best music in that particular genre. Now, my forte is rock. I have programmed rock radio stations all my career. I just got the ratings for my current rock station in Alaska. It's number 1 in all the demographics. I think I know at least what's good rock for the people of this area and the people who listen to my internet radio stations. I'm a pretty big fan of rock. Always have been, always will be. Just personally, not just professionally, but that, kind of blossomed into my career as well. When you love something, it's not really work, and I really love rock and roll, right? So I've looked at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for years going, why don't they just call it the Music Hall of Fame? These are not rock artists they're nominating. And the Grammy Awards have followed that suit. Yeah, we could talk about the fact that Jethro Tull won the first metal Grammy. It should have been Metallica that year. Yeah. Milli Vanilli. Yeah. We could talk about all the mistakes. But at least for a long time, the Grammy Awards had some credibility. When an album won Album of the Year, you were pretty confident that was pretty much the best album of the year. Sure, I might have liked something better, but that album was probably really great. And that song, you heard it on the radio all the time. Now we're so splintered. We have all these different categories. So many categories, they can't have them all in one 3.5-hour broadcast. And so the Rock and Metal Awards got pushed to the side. Really? One of the things that struck me this year is how come R&B has a progressive? There's a progressive R&B award. How come there's not a progressive rock award? Progressive rock has been around longer than progressive R&B. Yes, Pink Floyd, Genesis, since the 70s. Hello. We go back to the 60s if you want to talk Beatles and Moody Blues. But you have artists like Paramore and the Boys whatever, that band's already broken up. Olivia Rodrigo. These are not rock artists. No rock stations on the planet are playing them in rock rotation. Some of those won alternative awards. Again, not being played on rock stations. How does somebody win, rock song of the year and an alternative song of the year? Now, back in the day, I would make the excuse that somebody like Green Day or somebody like Nirvana crossed over. But these are not crossing over. None of these people that won these awards or were nominated for these awards are getting any rock play anywhere. There is not a rock programmer I know that would say Paramore is a rock band and have them in regular rotation. They're just not. There were so many great songs that came out in the rock genre. I'm not talking about urban, country, pop. Those, we could argue all day long whether the right people deserve the awards. Most in those categories were the most popular songs of the year. I don't have a problem with that. But in the rock awards, they were not the most popular songs of the year. They were not even songs that rock radio touched. Metallica won Best Metal Performance for 72 Seasons. They were also nominated for rock awards. Greta Van Fleet and Foo Fighters were the other rock bands nominated for rock awards, and the Rolling Stones, which is just kind of a gimme because it's the Rolling Stones. Nothing against the Rolling Stones, but Angry is just okay. The new album is fine, but it's not the best rock of the year. Where was Godsmack? Where was Five Finger Death Punch? Where were Where was Corey Taylor? Where were some of the songs that we have played hundreds, if not thousands of times in a year that rock fans love, that rock fans have bought, that rock fans own? Why aren't they getting the award nominations? Just nominate them. I don't care if they win, but at least have the nominations full of bands that are rock bands, who do rock tours, who get played on rock radio stations. You have people in those categories that are not played on rock radio stations anywhere, that don't tour with other rock bands, that are not part of the rock scene. So why are they nominated in that? Well, because you have a lot of people in the Academy voting from the different categories. You have experts in all of those different genres. They're not all experts in rock. I would imagine that the number of rock people in the Academy, or the whatever they call the Grammy Award grouping of people who vote, a lot of them are not rock fans. I am a big fan of Howard Benson. He's a producer and an engineer, and he gave up his voting rights years ago because he said they just don't get it in the rock industry. He's a big rock guy, and he's just like, you're giving me nominations of things I can't vote for because these are not rock bands. This is not rocket science either. More than once in the pantheon of rock history, more than once we've been kind of watered down like this. But for the most part, the Rock and Metal Awards in the categories have been nominated a lot of rock and metal artists. But the last few years, I look at the nominations, I don't care. This means nothing to me because I'm a rock guy. I'm in the rock genre in my profession, and you are not supporting that profession in any way, shape, or form. The Grammy Awards do it. The Music Hall of Fame does it. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I call them now the Music Hall of Fame. If the Grammy Awards are going to have all of these massive amounts of categories, at least make the categories correct. Make them germane to the country categories, pretty much all country stars. The pop categories, pretty much all pop stars. The R&B, the biggest problems I had with categories and those who got nominations was the rock and metal area. You just got bands in there and artists in there that should not be. I'm not asking for more rock bands to be nominated for Best New Artist. There are very few rock bands crossing over these days, although Shinedown currently has a big hit on Top 40. Did they get a mention in anything? They put out a very strong album in 2022 that carried through 2023. Nothing. A lot of big hits off that album. A lot of these rock bands, big hits, they're selling out concert tours. The Foo Fighters sell out concert tours. They didn't win anything for one of their best albums with some of the best songs they've ever written. In the wake of Taylor Hawkins' passing, this is a slap in the face to rock. It's a slap in the face to the band. It's a slap in the face to all these artists that are doing work. Olivia Rodrigo is nominated for a rock. Paramore is nominated for rock. I will give you that they're alternative and have guitars in it. But a buddy of mine and my artist pulled up some of these winners today and was like, really? He just listened to them and went, no, these are not rock songs. Really? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. I'm not bitching about it, though. I mean, the Grammy Awards is what it is. I just didn't watch it. There were some great things about the Grammy Awards. I love the Fast Car performance was really good. There were some other things that I watched. I didn't watch the performances live. I, pick and choose what I wanted to watch later. There were some great things, but there was also, again, I've heard for years now that rock is dead. And yet, I have 2 internet radio stations that have listeners in 168 countries. I have a rock station in Kenai, Alaska that was #1 in all the major demographics, Monday through Sunday. Rock is doing just fine. I have no hard time at all finding new rock songs to play on any of my rock stations. There is a plethora of great music out there all the time. But because it's not on Spotify or because it's not on, I don't know, some of these other things, TikTok, I guess. I don't see a whole lot of rock bands on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on there either. It's just not my cup of tea. So I don't know what the answer is. But as far as I'm concerned, we're going to do our starting now. I'm going to do my own rock awards every year. This has gotten out of hand, and somebody needs to be the ones to go, look, it's the same conversation I've had in a podcast about radio. When I started in radio, we picked the hits. We decided what was going to be a hit. We would get a whole bunch of songs in and go, you know what? That's one of the best songs I've gotten in. We need to go ahead and start playing that. I don't care if the record label or whoever was promoting it. I don't care if they were promising us a promotion for playing it. It was like, this is a great song. We're going to play this. I don't care who else is playing it. And that's still how I program a lot of my stations. Sure, I take in everything from Spotify spins to other stations playing it, but in the end, the song has to fit my radio station before it goes on. And if I really like it, I'm not going to wait for any of that other stuff. I'm just going to put it on because I know what a good rock song is, and I know what a good song is. I was a musician too. It's a little ridiculous that people can't see the forest for the trees. Nominate Paramore for all the alternative and pop stuff you want, but throw them in the rock category, and the rock category people are going to walk away from this. They're already starting to walk away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're going to walk away from the Grammys too. And like I said, the Grammy Awards used to have power. If an album won multiple Grammy Awards, it sold like hotcakes the next day. Where has that gone? Did everybody go listen to Spotify for the winners last night? I mean, where did everybody go to listen to some of that music? Those rock winners, we're not playing them. So where did people go to listen to them the next day if they didn't go buy them? They didn't buy them from iTunes or Amazon or whatever. Are they streaming them? Does the Grammy Awards have any effect over the streaming services like it used to have on record sales? That would be an interesting thing for somebody that cares to work it out. But I've said in a previous podcast, as a radio programmer, I don't really care who listens to Spotify. They're not listening to the radio. People don't jump back and forth usually. You're either a radio listener or you're a Spotify listener, and I'm a radio listener. Even with streaming stations, they tend to stick with radio or Spotify. It's not, I'm just going to bounce around between the two. Not usually, not most people. What do you listen to? Again, I have nothing bad to say about Taylor Swift. I have nothing bad about, pop music going more urban, whatever, any of the other things that everybody's bitching about. I don't have a problem with any of that other stuff. But in my genre of music, in the rock and metal categories, you are screwing us hard. And again, we've decided here in Alaska, we're going to do our own rock awards. I'm going to do that with my personal radio stations as well. I'm going to go ahead and put that together this week. I can do it. Why not? We know what the best rock songs of the year were, so be on the lookout for that. Coming soon to 106.9 The Fuse in Kenai, Alaska, and coming soon to ROCKFILE Radio, our awards and our charts, the biggest songs of the rock songs that actually were rock songs. You're going to see that posted very soon. There. I have to put my money where my mouth is, right? If you just bitch about something and don't do anything about it, you're not really doing anything but bitching. So I have a problem with something that's happening in the world. I'm going to fix it my own way. Isn't that how you do it? So anyway, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the Grammys, great. I thought it was a decent show. Trevor Noah is not, I love Trevor Noah, but he's not the best host for something like that. Some of his jokes were pretty cringy. A lot of the music performances were fantastic. Jay-Z bitching about winning a bunch of awards, but his wife didn't win the other one was stupid. And Metallica's award being off camera. The biggest band on the planet. They're selling more concert tickets than anybody right now. And they were off camera, off the show. I don't understand, so we're going to fix it. I'm Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks for listening to a podcast about rock and roll today. If you enjoyed the Grammys, great. But if you're a rock fan and enjoyed the Grammys, I would question your rock cred. More podcasts are on the way. Have a spectacular day.